Trump orders increased federal law enforcement presence in D.C. over crime rate. The Trump administration ordered an increase of the federal law enforcement presence in Washington, D.C., starting Thursday night, the White House said. President Trump has directed an increased presence of federal law enforcement to protect innocent citizens. Starting tonight, there will be no safe harbor for violent criminals in D.C., White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement. President Trump is committed to making our nation's capital safer for its residents, lawmakers, and visitors from all around the world. A White House official confirmed to CNN that Thursday's mobilization will include federal officers in marked units and highly visible. The increased presence was to begin at midnight as part of a 7-day effort, with the option to extend, the official added. The effort is led by U.S. Park Police, with participation from U.S. Capitol Police, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, D.C. Police, DEA, and other agencies. It is focused on high-traffic tourist areas and other known hotspots, according to the official. As of Friday afternoon, CNN reporters did not see an apparent increase in law enforcement presence at popular tourist and commercial areas in the city, including the National Mall, Union Station, and U Street Northwest. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms D.C. field office posted on X in the early hours of Friday morning that the agency was patrolling the district, writing, "Together at ATF Washington with our federal law enforcement partners are out ensuring that the residents of the District of Columbia are safer this evening." Federal authorities on the first night seized a .40 caliber pistol, more than 100 suspected fentanyl pills and 164 grams of marijuana in one traffic stop, according to the White House official. 4 people in the car were arrested, the official said. Another traffic stop netted a 9mm pistol and more than 140 grams of crack cocaine. U.S. Park Police, which is leading the effort, posted pictures of the guns and drugs on X. More than 120 federal law enforcement officers will be on the streets of D.C. over the next several days, according to the official. CNN has reached out to D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser's office for comment but hasn't received a response. 11 of 12 members of the D.C. City Council did not respond or declined to a request for comment. Council member Christina Henderson attributed crime in the city to the Trump and Biden administrations not nominating enough judges to handle the local caseload. Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton, a non-voting delegate who represents D.C. in Congress, called the administration's actions offensive, sending in the FBI, DEA, Homeland Security officers and others throughout the district in response to an assault where the existing police presence was sufficient to catch 2 assailants as they were leaving the scene is a disproportionate overreaction that's offensive to D.C., Norton said. Moreover, this needless escalation will heighten tensions and potentially make D.C., which achieved its lowest violent crime rate in 30 years in 2024, less safe. CNN previously reported that the Trump administration had been making plans to increase federal law enforcement in the nation's capital. In announcing the increase Thursday, the White House pointed to several high-profile crimes in D.C., including the killing of 2 Israeli embassy staff members in May. The announcement came just days after a well-known former Department of Government Efficiency staffer was assaulted in D.C. But according to a preliminary year-to-date crime comparison from D.C. Police, 2025 crime numbers are lower than last year's. As of Thursday, violent crime is down 26%, according to the D.C. Police. The White House official added that the actions being taken Thursday night are in compliance with the Making the District of Columbia Safe and Beautiful executive order the president signed in March. That order aims to ensure that all applicable quality of life, nuisance, and public safety laws are strictly enforced, including crimes involving assault, battery, larceny, graffiti, public intoxication, and more. On Wednesday, the president said he is considering having his administration take over the D.C. Police Department and might deploy the National Guard to D.C. over recent crime. "We're going to beautify the city. We're going to make it beautiful. And what a shame, the rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else. We're not going to let it, and that includes bringing in the National Guard maybe very quickly too," Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. A spokesperson for the D.C. National Guard told CNN on Friday morning that it had not been activated. Contrary to some social media posts, the DC National Guard is not activated currently for the support. Please contact the White House for questions concerning the POTUS's comments this week, said Master Sergeant Arthur Wright. As for the current ops of the DCNG, the presence of National Guardsmen and vehicles seen this week and throughout the weekend are related to required training for UTA, Unit Training Assembly. Donald Trump has ordered federal officers to start sweeping the streets of Washington, D.C., launching what the White House is calling a 7-day crackdown on violent crime just one day after threatening to federalize the city. The mobilization, which began on Thursday night, follows an attempted carjacking that left well-known Trump administration figure Edward "Big Balls" Corey Stein bloodied and injured. Washington, D.C. is an amazing city, but it has been plagued by violent crime for far too long, the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said in a statement. President Trump has directed an increased presence of federal law enforcement to protect innocent citizens. Starting tonight, there will be no safe harbor for violent criminals in D.C. The deployments come despite crime statistics showing violent crime in Washington hit a 30-year low in 2024, according to city police data. Crime has continued to decline in the first half of 2025 compared with the previous year. The operation will focus on high-traffic tourist areas, Leavitt said, and involves multiple federal agencies working alongside local police forces under Trump's March executive order, making D.C. safe and beautiful task force. All federal officers are clearly identified in marked vehicles and maintain high visibility, according to the White House statement. The announcement follows Trump's social media threat to take federal control of Washington, D.C. if local authorities failed to address crime. In a Truth Social post, the president called for minors as young as 14 to be prosecuted as adults and declared, "If this continues, I am going to exert my powers and federalize this city." An aerial view of a city. Trump threatens to federalize D.C. after attack on DOJ staffer. Federal officers from the U.S. Park Police will lead the effort, supported by Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Homeland Security Investigations Unit and Enforcement and Removal Operations Divisions. The Metropolitan Police Department, U.S. Capitol Police, and Metro Transit Police are also participating. On the first night after the White House announcement, federal agent deployment across the city was reportedly minimal. The Associated Press conducted a 2-hour street tour starting at 1 a.m. and found little evidence of the promised surge.